Hey, we're going to talk about manager Dusty Baker, the guy with the toothpick and the wristbands, which I think is really cool. How long have you known him?
Well, over 18 years now, Scott, and the first time I ever met Dusty Baker, he has this impact on you that you feel like you've become part of his family. And that's what Major League Baseball players have always said about Dusty Baker. He's a player's manager. You know, whether I'm hosting the radio in the morning or the TV show, I'm always bragging about one particular guy, Dusty Baker. If you were going to play for a guy that was real, it's Dusty Baker. But how about this one? When he was a baseball player, he could hit, he could catch. But now as a manager, he's not in the position to hit, catch, or throw. So how in the hell do you do it? How do you manage it? How do you tell the guys, hey, don't you get it? I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Well, you know what it comes down to? You have to keep reminding them. And it's about perfect practice. If you practice perfectly and practice as you would play, then you're going to get better. And I try to stress to them about forethought of actions. I try to stress to them about being alert. I think that's the thing that's lacking probably the most, of being alert of all situations, of all potential situations, and not being caught surprised by anything on a baseball field.
Dusty, you had a lot of different options. You went from managing. That first year you weren't managing. I called you just as spring training was starting in Arizona, and I said, are we going to see you? You said, you know what, I'm not ready to come around. I'm lost. It was a lost feeling, wasn't it? An empty feeling.
Well, it was an empty feeling because it was the first time I hadn't been on a baseball field in years, and actually in 20 years, and it was 20 years before that. And, you know, it was a little different. But the thing about it, what saved me was the fact that I got offered a job by ESPN. And that's what kind of saved me, because at the time I was still involved, but I wasn't as closely involved as I was before. And I knew I was going to get back into baseball eventually. I didn't know exactly when, but that was a good break for me. My dad was under the weather, so to speak, health-wise. We were moving into a new home in Sacramento, so I was helping my wife move and unpack. And I got to go fishing, turkey hunting, all kind of stuff with my son that I hadn't been able to do. I was one of the guys on the Little League World Series. I went to Memphis with Elvin Bishop, and we did the Memphis Blues Awards there. I met some of my old blues heroes that I would have never met. So it was a very productive year for me. At the same time, it was a year of you know, healing, because I'd never been let go or fired before.
Sure.
And so, you know, it was a little different, but I'm telling you, I'm very happy where I am and be in this position in my life and time where I am at this moment.
Obviously a lot of confidence. You tackled a job that was going to really require a lot of work, let's face it. The Cincinnati Reds, there's been a ton of changes down the stretch here. The exciting part about it is, even though the record might not be what you want, the games that you lost have been like by this.
Yeah, I mean, rarely are we blown out. I mean, most of the time it's a close game. Most of the time it's a game where we're one hit away, one pitch away, one play away from winning the game. And our guys feel the closeness that, you know, how close we are. And, you know, we have a bunch of young guys here that are still learning how to play baseball, and they're still learning how to win, and there is a difference. And, you know, we are very, very close. Our organization believes that we're a couple pieces away. We don't have all the pieces yet, but a lot of the guys that are here now are helping to make up our minds on which pieces we will need and which pieces we don't need.
As a father, as now a former professional athlete and now a manager, what would you say to a parent that thinks that their kid is the next Ken Griffey Jr. or whoever it may be, to maybe not put so much pressure on a kid?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. And, you know, don't put so much pressure on them. You know, don't brag too much openly in front of them. You know, encourage them. But, you know, at the same time, you gotta let them be themselves and let them have some fun, because there's so much pressure now because of the money out there. Everybody wants their kid to be this or that because they can take care of them or whatever it is. But it's not their money, it's the kids' money, number one. And number two is that you got a lot of, you know, let them have fun and let them do some of the things that they like to do. Because if not, then, you know, they're going to be an adult soon enough, and they never would have had a childhood. And, you know, you want your kids to look back and love what you did for them and not resent what you did for them.
Dusty Baker, he's for real. I don't know about you guys, but I would love to suit up and go play for him right now. That's how much he motivates an individual.